To Barvotti's 55th live screening of tools for creatives. I am Phoebe Bradbury, and today I will be demonstrating some of the tools that I use every day in my art studio. I wouldn't want to be without them, and I find new uses for them all the time. There will be promotional offers during the program, and the promo codes will be active during the demonstration and for about half an hour after. The current time is 12 noon Central, March the 2nd, 2022. Right now, the promotions are only available on Amazon.com. And I'm back. And this is the finished product of the intro that you just saw. And that was done several months ago. It's called Purple Domain. And okay, I'm going to set that aside. This is the, okay, I'll put it in the middle. And this is the poured painting we did yesterday. And I went against my usual rule and I did a little correction down here that I don't usually do. And I'm not totally happy with it, but that's the first poured painting that we did on this show that actually turned out pretty good. And I'm prepared to do maybe one or two more today, later in the program. And I'm also going to talk to you about what inspired me to do the poured paintings and some of that stuff, and that I will be, they will be on abstractartcanada.com. Not right now, but probably within the next week or so. So there we go. So I usually start the show showing some of the things that we do on here. So let's see. I try to protect the under pictures with a little bit of paper. There we go. So this is something that was done at a on the going out. Okay, I'm going to just make it a little bigger. Yeah, or I mean, allow you to see more of it. And it's done on a freezer paper. I used to call it butcher paper, but apparently it's freezer paper, and it has a plastic side which is perfect for using these tools. These are the tools I'm going to be showing you. I think, where is it? Where are my tools? I think this one is, it's this one, the 1.5 inch. See, you can see there. And so this was actually made by this tool, and this tool that I cut the teeth out of. And I know it's this particular tool because I can actually go to one of these toothy things, and where it goes, you can see that that's where the marks are there, that follows that exactly. So just to show you the variety of marks that we can do with just two simple tools. We can make a wide variety of marks, really, without even cutting anything out. And the paint here is Payne's Gray. This is not archival paper. Freezer paper isn't something that's meant to be to be sold or shown in galleries. But you can take, scan it, and then piece it together and make a digital image of something like this. And you really can't tell the difference very much after you've done that. So that's that one. Okay. I don't recall whether I was going to ask you to, do I usually ask you to do one here? Oh, I know. Can we do this on the going out, but right after I talk about Blue Bridge, okay? And Blue Bridge is done on Yupo paper, which is archival. And it's also very, very suitable for using these types of silicone products. And in this case, I think I used this little one that was my first one. And so this was very, very early on in our shows. We're now on show 55. This is probably done on show 2 or 3, and we were lucky to get it filmed, and so we have that as the going out one today. So you'll see that later at the end of the show, about an hour from now. And this is another. Oh, I think I was going to show you one more thing. This is another one, and this is called Orange Regrets, and it's on Yupo paper as well. At this time when I was doing them, I was being careful to sort of keep an edge on them. I don't do that much anymore. I take the painting right out to the edge. But this took a couple of minutes, maybe not even that long, on a demo for the paper. And these will be shown later on Abstract Art Canada, a new website for abstract art in Canada. So this is Orange Regrets, and Previn's going to show you how that was made. That was that green one, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, we accidentally started another one, but you'll have to come another day to see that one. We've got about, how many, about 5 or 6 or 10?
8 or 10.
Yeah, paintings that we've set to music. After we sped them up and set them to music. So right here I have on the space that we're looking at the products that are available today on Amazon.com, and that's going to change within a few days because we're going to get sets like this size, which are they're still in the plastic bags. I don't have to go run around and count them all the time. And these will be 4 millimeter. These are the 3 millimeter. They're very tiny. And I'll demonstrate the larger versions, or show the larger versions of those today. We have, oops, there's one missing. Oh no, there it is. It was in the case. Okay, so these are 1 millimeter, 1 centimeter or 10 millimeters, and these are 7 millimeters. And these are called shapers. And we haven't done a lot of demonstrations with them simply because we have to have them in supply. When we do demonstrations on Amazon Live, and because of what's happening with shipping, etc. in the world, we just recently got these 2 sets. Normally we have all of this all the time, but that has been a bit of a problem lately, but it shouldn't be a problem in the future. So I want to just briefly show you the quality of these. This is a medium firm silicon blade with a very sharp edge, makes nice sharp marks, and we'll go through and do some of those today. And this is 3-inch. It's got a nice ferrule, synthetic handle, which does not warp or split like wood, and it's compressed. And it's got a hole on the end, which is one of the major features why I like these, because with a flat handle like this, storage is a problem, so it's really great to have a place where you can hang them up. So I like tools that I can hang up. So 3-inch, 2.5 inch, 2-inch, 1.5 inch, and 1 inch. And we started with the 1 inch. It was so popular that due to demand, we quickly moved to the 1, the 2, and the 3-inch, and now we're doing just about as much business with the in-between ones because they're very popular. And the interesting thing is it doesn't really matter the exact size of it. You can make a multitude of marks with any of them on any type of paper. And so I'm going to do a quick quick thing here of the ends of the shapers, because every 5-piece set of shapers, I'm going to just put a background on there that allows you to see it. Oops, a little bit sharper. I got my, is it in, I don't know. I think I'm just going to check to see. Okay, that's focused on there. I'm going to just bring this out here, zoom them in a little bit, and bring my hand here. Yeah, it should focus right on it. So this one, oops, pardon me. This is the angle chisel, and you can see it's got a nice long edge here. And it is, it's actually one of my favorite ones because it's big. I usually paint quite large, though you'd never know it by this show because most of the things are very small. So it's got a number of things that are really nice about it. The point, and this long sharp blade side, and then the wide spreading side. So that's really a great tool. This one is the what is it? Taper point tool. So taper point tool. So it's got a very, very fine point, but you can also use, this is really, really good for smudging powdered types of things like charcoal or pastels and things like that, and to doing precise little marks. The cup chisel, as you can see, it's constructed slightly different. It has a little flat pushing surface here. It comes across here quite straight like a blade. No, it's not a really sharp blade. And then it's really great for moving heavy paint and for doing a number of different things. And to play with them, you find out all the marks you can make. So those are those three. This is the round chisel. Very good for moving heavy paint because of the strength of the sides. And you really have to try them to understand how to use them. And you can use them for carving, not plasticine, but clay, different things like that. Now this is the flat chisel. It's very similar to our big our Barvotti modelers. And in style and everything. And the determination of the size is actually determined by the length across the end of the flat chisel. So this one will be 10, I think that is the one, yeah, 10 millimeters, or 10 millimeters, 1 centimeter. So this is the largest size we carry. And then the one size down that we have right now is 7 millimeters. So it's 7 millimeters across that size. So I will be using these samples of these during the show. Sometimes I get mixed up and I use my fresh big ones. Okay. I have to be careful now to keep one set really, really nice and pristine so I can show them to you at the beginning. So that's those. Okay. Going to get you to show Sandy Welsh, Previn. I'd like to introduce Sandy Welsh, an online artist on Instagram. She will be painting with a 1-inch modeler. That's, where is it? This one. And then she'll do some scratching through with the 3-inch modeler. That's this one. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy Welsh is an excellent artist, and you can find her on Instagram. Demonstrating making her paintings. Thank you, Sandy Welsh.
Let's see. I'm going to go back to my little rubber spatula here. She had that big ball of dark. And then we'll go over it again with a lighter blue, but this will be underneath. So we getting to look like this ocean? See? This is really cool. Where do you get the, oh, I ordered them from Amazon. They look like, where's my big one? I think they're called shapers. I got two of them. I got the bigger one. They're not expensive either. I got this one. I think if you just put in paint shapers, this will come up. They're nice, and you can use the tips if you want to sort of scratch out. Yeah, they had a couple different sizes, but I like them. It's the first time I've started using them.
Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is just demonstrate using a couple of the tools right on the freezer paper, and if I get warmed up enough, I will try and do a quick painting on one of these little inexpensive boards I've prepared with some gold, because I often complain, well, I think I complain, that you don't get the same result if you're always painting on white. So we may try those. But first of all, I'm just going to go over some of the marks. That's the 3-inch. And I'm going to use a dark. I like the Payne's Gray because it's dark. Well, for doing this, because it's dark and it shows on the surface. I have enough. I'm just trying to figure out how much space I have here. Because sometimes I paint right outside of the area where I should be. And I'll put a little bit of red in too. So this is the 3-inch, and I love this size because I do paint large. So what I did there is I just pulled out across the Payne's Gray and across the red, and you'll see what happened here. You can see that I've got here the mass tone of the Payne's Gray, and I left a little bit of the red here, but you also get to see what these colors are when they're pulled out. Now because this is a wax surface, it bubbles a little bit, but you can also see that even when I pull it out, I can use that area to make marks. Now I'm just going to lay some of that stuff down that I just pulled off, so to show you that you can lay it down. Okay. Now it looks very black. That's sort of what Payne's Gray is about. It's like a black that isn't black, that looks black on your painting, but won't make your painting look like there's a hole in it. So there's a nice flat surface there. And okay, what other marks can I make here? Well, I can make these kinds of marks, which are somewhat boring, but actually you can do a lot with them. And just by playing, you can find out how many. And if you show up at the show, you will see we've tried many, many, many versions of many of them. And I was going to just take a quick, I'm not sure if I'm ready, monoprint off this, just to demonstrate, not monoprinting, but I have another one later that I want to show. I thought I put a piece of paper up here. Oh, we'll just use this. Oops. I should actually not monoprint that piece because it's got way too much paint on it. So a monoprint is just where you've got an interesting picture. Now I may have too much paint on there, but I'm going to take it anyway, just to give you an idea. I'm going to play with one a little later, and I want you to see how the first part was made, because you have to actually dry it before you work with the second part. So that's the one we made today. And this is the one I made several months ago, but I've prepared it for working on a little further. So those are monoprints. They actually work out a lot better if the paint's a bit drier. But let's go back to making the marks, the kinds of marks you can make just with this. So you saw these marks, and I'm going to show you this one. I use this in my flamingo paintings a lot. And okay. So you don't have to use them just as squares. Like this is perfect for making a big square, right? And you can see how it scrapes off. And you'll notice the ghosting underneath, which because you will learn if you're doing this, that you can prepare your paints, let them dry to just the degree that you want, and then you will have other things underneath it. And it can be very interesting in an abstract painting, or any other kind of painting, I suppose, if you wanted to show reflections through a window or something. Okay, so different kinds of marks. So there's a different kind of mark. And say if you had hair on a dog, that's the one I'm thinking about right now. If you're doing a dog, a very hairy dog, there you can see you can make those kinds of marks. You can make circles. And it just depends on where you pivot, how big your circle is. And then you can lay back stuff on top of that. Now, right now, when I first started, I was just demonstrating the tools for what I used them for and what I knew about them, because I never had to demonstrate them for an audience. I was demonstrating them to myself because they're obviously a great tool. They have a sharp, incisive edge, and especially for an abstract painter, if I wanted to make a straight line with that, I could do something like that, or if I can pull through to a lower surface. But what's happened is, because I have to demonstrate it every day, and I get a little bit bored, I'm always looking for new ways of presenting them. So you get a dimensionality to them if you place certain other things on top of them. All of a sudden, I have that distance. I can see that those ones are further away than these ones. So it makes very interesting. You can do very interesting abstract paintings that way. Let's see, we're getting a little dry here. Let's add some more red and see what we can do. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I want to get into the poured paintings, because we're getting very good at that. So the basket thing, 1, 2, 3, go over, under, over, under, over, over, under. So we've done this many times, sometimes with a different background and stuff like that. But this is just to show you that repetitive marks made this way can become very interesting, and they're not difficult to make. And you can be much more precise and do a really good job of making them if that's the way you like to paint. I'm not that kind of a painter, but I'm sure glad there are other people that are that kind of painter, because I enjoy looking at them. So you can see the variety here, just because we use different colors. We've got different colors peeking through and things like that. So cleaning. That's the other thing I'm supposed to talk about. Compared to a brush, like these are great for covering large surfaces and all kinds of things. If you've been watching a while, you've seen me pull the paint right off of a whole painting with these, and then just wiped it so that it could actually start again. This is one. No, I had a piece of Yupa paper here. Here it is. Here's a piece of Yupa paper we painted on the other day, and I didn't like it particularly, so I scraped all of the paint off with one of these modelers, and then I just rinsed it. And the Yupa papers, it doesn't look pretty, but it's absolutely perfect and ready to be used again. It's still archival, and I rarely have a white background on my paintings anyway, so I'm fine with that. But notice how a little wipe with a damp cloth And that's what I use. And the damp cloth completely cleans the paint off, and I'm ready to use it again. And anybody who's an acrylic artist or paints with acrylic paints and uses brushes, which I do, when I have my full studio, I use brushes, and I usually use what do they call the hog's hair brushes. But they cannot be left for even, 5 minutes sitting in paint without rinsing them off with water, or you've ruined them. Okay, I'm just going to take another little wipe. But these I can use and use and use. So when I'm working in my studio, if I can do what I want with one of these, I will, because it saves me all the work of cleaning a brush. And I think I still have one here. I accidentally used one. It's actually not, it's getting a bit better, but at first it was just solid cement, but it's still a ruined brush. I've been soaking it in water and things to try to get it back. Sometimes certain types of fluid, you can get it back, and if you're painting with brushes, you can do something to protect them a little bit, so that you can protect them, so you don't have to rush to clean them immediately after. But I'm demonstrating the silicone brushes because, as much as possible, I do my work with these, because I like some of the effects. I couldn't possibly do that with a brush, but I also like the fact that they are very, very quick to clean. So can you think of another thing I should? Pardon me? Okay, yeah. My husband Preben is the cameraman, I guess, in this case, and so he helps me, and he's going to show a quick video a little information thing on how they're used. Okay, what I want to do, on the last day, I showed how I took a monoprint. Remember, we did this morning, and it's I don't know where I did with it. Here, sorry. We took one, and they're not the most finished piece of art. They can look a lot better, or they might be really good on a part of a painting or something like that. But the thing about it is, to take a monoprint, I can't use a Yupo paper. I have to use real paper. And when I use real paper, I can't really paint on it. So last time, I can't paint on it with these because it just absorbs right into the surface. So I painted it with an acrylic gel, very fine gel. So it sort of turned it into a slippery, slick surface. And I just wanted to experiment and have you join me, because I'm not sure what's going to happen here. But I'm going to put some transparent light paint on it and work through it with these just to see what's going to happen. I'm not trying to do a finished piece, but I'm trying to see, okay, this is sort of my process. I say, okay, if I want to do something, then I have to practice doing it. And so here we have a fairly decent monoprint. It's not, it might be fine for the abstract painting that I might be doing. And I'm just going to show, so this is I'm just going to show what happens when I squirt paint across it, or when we spread paint across it. So this is a transparent red. It's quinacridone red, artist quality. And I'm just going to take one of these nice brushes here. Am I right in the middle? Yes. And I'm just going to see what happens. And I'm going to extend it over the edges where I had where I don't have the gel, just to show you what happens. So here I'm just going to go like this. So it just gives a nice, in this case, a nice color. It changes the color of it. And I'm going to go right over to the edge. And you can see that at this point, I don't have any gel. See? No gel there. And I probably don't have any gel over here. Yeah. So you can see these ripples over there that show the edge of the gel. So now the gel works so well that I can actually scrape, at this point, scrape right off. Oh, pretty much. I probably could wipe right down if I wanted to, but right now I want to leave the red there. And there's nothing stopping me from putting on much darker color. Taking it right off. So I'm just gonna, or I could even do one of my silly things with one of these and put a different type of mark on there. So that's with this little parallel line maker. I'm going to put a darker color on now this is also a transparent color. It's a blue, but it's much darker. This is phthalo blue. And I'm just going to, so what happens, you can see that now you can see it underneath, but it's not, let's get me a different size of one of these, and you can see. So depending on how hard I push, you can see the underneath. And also depending on how long I leave it before I pull through it. Now the other thing I want to show is I'm going to show you what happens when I mix it with another color, because I should get purple if I go up here. But that'll be on the surface. So this might or might not be interesting to you, but it's one of the many things that I've explored and continue to explore. I want to see how I can make different types of marks and things like that. So even having something like this show in one of my paintings in a small corner might add a fair amount of interest. The fact that the red isn't all perfectly, see, now it almost looks newsprinty. Let's try one more color. Let's try Payne's Gray, this is that sort of black color I told you about. The artist's black. That's what I think of it as. I rarely use a real black in my paintings because it can just cut holes in it. So this adds a really nice tone to that. And I suppose if I liked part of the figures there, I could take one of these shapers and I could go over the marks and even bring them up brighter if I wanted to. I'm not really something that I would normally do, but there's no reason you can't. Let's see. So this is just more a technique-y thing that I'm showing you here. And that's what I'm... Okay. I'll show you here how this paint just goes, when you go to the area where I have not put any gel, it just soaks right into the surface. So if anybody has any questions about this, please feel free to ask, and if I can't answer it this time, I'll try to do it in a future show. So far I've been asked one interesting question, and it's great. That's what I was hoping the show would be about, and I'm hoping that we will eventually get there. It means, I'm supposed to have a spray here. I don't have it. Okay. No water? Oh, okay. Oh, there's some water. Just wanted to put a little bit of water on here now. Just to show you that it's still quite wet. And so if for some reason you chose to take it off, you still can do it. Okay. So no, I don't want to take one of that. Just take a Kleenex, because I actually don't want to take all the stuff off there, so I'm going to save that. Okay. Once again, I'm cleaning, so I'm going to go on, and we're going to do something a little different today, maybe. I did want to, I've been hankering to do that for some time, so just bear with me. Did I show, I thought we might do some poured paintings here. For those of you that are interested, I have a little setup here. And I did do about 54 poured paintings a few years ago. And I was recently asked by where I'm going to be showing my work, which is on Canadian art, abstract Art Canada. Right, thank you. They've been interviewing me and want to know like what sort of things influenced me. And so I'm trying to answer those questions, which are, I tend not to talk too much about them. But a few years ago, I was in a restaurant in Chicxulub, in where we live, which is on the north coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. And it was just a little friendly restaurant, and there was a great big poster on the wall. And it was about a crater that had fallen right in Chicxulub. It's called the Chicxulub crater. It's on the edge of the... Eh? Yeah, it's called the Chicxulub crater. Sorry. It's called the Chicxulub crater, and it's on the edge of the north edge of the Yucatan Peninsula. And it's, what's it called? The Bay of Mexico? No. Gulf of Mexico. And it's supposed to have caused the Gulf of Mexico. And I don't remember how many millions or trillions of years ago it was, but it, when it hit, it was so great that it resulted in the death or the extinction of the dinosaurs. And I have been thinking about that and looking at these pictures and reading it. And I was thinking about it at that time when I was doing my poured paintings. And I realized that the poured paintings were an excellent way to capture my feelings and ideas about what had really happened, because what had happened is that this huge crater, or huge comet, was it a comet? Asteroid. A huge asteroid had hit the Earth, and things melted almost instantly, and rocks melted, and the sea boiled, and on the other side of the Earth there were so many fires and things like that and it happened within a matter of days, and of course that was the end of the dinosaurs. So a lot of that, when I'm mixing paints and pouring them, pouring the paints is about you mix paints of slightly different densities, and then you pour it down, and you get these beautiful things happening, and things that you'd never thought before. And so I've been thinking that as I was doing a lot of these, particularly this one behind me, this is a poured painting. Is it showing there, Preben? Okay, this is a poured painting that I did fairly early after I'd heard about that. And of course, it was done on a little 8x8 piece. And I sent it to Mexico to get it enlarged. And it can be, it's so precise, it can be enlarged many, many times. But these lines and the differences in the lines are caused by the different densities of the paint. And that's what gives the really fine definition. And also, this one was particularly interesting to me because I used the colors that were like fire and, oh, there's the devil. See, I keep looking at this painting. Can you see this one? Is this on there?
Yeah.
Okay, so every time I see it and look at it for more than about 5 minutes, I just start to find all these devils all over the place. So there's one there, his mouth is down, and there's his other eye, and he's got a nose. And then there's this funny squashed little one here. And it's just, there's hundreds of, not hundreds, I'm exaggerating. There's probably about 15 or 20 that I can recognize if I've looked at it oh, there's one there. If I've looked at it recently, but it's just like a molten, crazy mess. And for me, you know, my imagination of what happened in the world at that time was, I felt I was playing with something that was very similar, and it was a lot of fun. I was once told by somebody who was giving me some advice about selling my work, that not once told, since told, by somebody who was trying to help me market my work in California, and he says, "Oh, I don't think you should mention that was what inspired you, because you don't want to be talking about something negative like, you know, things like this, you know, explosion, worldwide problems and things." I see another one in here. Oh goodness, where did I just see him? Oh, there he is. There's another one. See, eyes. Anyway, he suggested I don't discuss the fact that I was inspired by the Chicxulub asteroid. Here's another one here. See eyes here, big long nose there. Oh, there's another one. There, see. So I imagine if I made it even bigger, I'd probably see more. But so we're gonna do another painting today, and hope not necessarily about the Chicxulub crater, but that's what inspired me at that point, and that's why I kept going. And I did have a show in Merida. It was basically a studio show where it was basically a studio walk where people went around and visited people's studios and looked at what kind of work they were doing. And I did that in Merida, 2017. So we're going to go over and play with this again. And here's my setup. I just want to mention a few things about it. I have this old turntable, and this one seems to be big enough. I've used it in my art studio before. This type of painting is very messy, so I cut out some of my freezer paper, so the plastic side is up. And normally I used to put little pins in here, like little pins that you put into a board, but they're really awkward. So I thought I'd try these little, what are they called? Velcro spots. So I put a Velcro spot on there and here, and put, oops, let's get it in. Okay, here, is that better? So we put the Velcro spots on there, and then these little cups, because it's very important to keep it up above the surface so the extra paint drips off the side. And so that's one of the innovations. This is a painting, one that we used a couple of days ago, and I just painted over the surface, one of the not successful ones. So I keep using the boards until I have a finished painting, and then when the painting is successful, which I thought it was last time, I will put a surface on it. See, this is a successful one from when I was doing my Chicxulub ones. And as you can see, it just looked like all kinds of new life exploding and things like that. So I put an epoxy finish on it just to protect the surface. You don't have to do that. And you can make much bigger ones if you want. I've done some a couple of feet wide. So here we go. Am I right in the middle? Okay, and so the thing we learned last time, that was just something that fell on the floor, was it was very important, or I shouldn't say the thing I learned, but the thing I remembered, because I hadn't done it for a while. The thing I remembered was that it was important that the things you're using are fluid and not sort of chunky and pasty. So I went through last day and I made mixed up lots of paints so that we had nice ones that way. I noticed that none of the gold showed through, and I think I remember the reason is you can't do that with something that has gold. Isn't here? The gold isn't really a color. It's an emulsion of fine particles that make it look like a metallic color. So and the particles aren't gold, by the way, but they're little metallic particles in there, and that's what, when it dries, like right now it's milky, and when it dries, it'll dry crystal clear. But probably putting it in the in this method that I'm using, probably not the best way. So I may just pour some of it on top, and so this is going to be step 2. I'm just looking at the one we did yesterday, but I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. Did I show this already today? No. Okay, so this is the one we did yesterday, and this is the first one that actually swam nicely across the surface, maybe a little bit fast, and it does look, I think I've got it, yeah, okay. So you can see, I can bring it in. It's got pretty good marks. It doesn't have a lot of dark marks. It's got a fair amount of white. But we'll see what we can get today, because one of the things I'm going to change is I'm going to change the viscosity of this this white. I'm going to just add a little bit more gel. And then this is a firmer gel, or it's a little bit thicker than the white. So we're just going to see what happens. And the goal is for it to, actually my goal should be to put on a pair of gloves right now, but I probably won't, is for it to go right across the surface of this. And that has a very nice surface now, because I was testing this paint by pouring it over there, and I finally got it so that it poured quite nicely. So this is called the flip cup method. And if we continue to do this, I will try and just dropped yellow in there. I'll try and get like a procedure, define a procedure that works. Let's put it that way. So that's yellow. And the other thing I was going to do, they say that if you put a little bit of oil in one of the cups, probably a dark one, and the very best oil for this is treadmill oil lubricant. And I couldn't find mine, and I found it this morning, so here it is. I'm just going to spray a little bit in the blue one. I don't know whether that's too much or too little, because I haven't done enough of it lately, but we're just going to do that. And the other thing I've been thinking is, you know, this is about viscosity, and it's about density. So my things are turning out quite white, but when I look at my old ones, what I notice is that they're not white. Like the one I have on the board there that I was showing you with all the devils in it, it's almost all red and no white. So I don't recall what I did at that point. Did I keep notes? Not particularly. I expected I would remember everything all the time. So that's red. So the only thing I've put in with a lot of oil in it is the blue. And did I stir that oil in? I hope I did. Maybe I'll put a little bit of this orange in. Maybe I'll put a little bit of oil in that too. This orange is, it's not really orange, it's called, the real name of it is Indian yellow. I'm going to put a bit more of that blue in. Hope it went to the bottom. Now, the other thing I've noticed is, what I've noticed is I'm not sure whether I'm stirring it. I do have to review this kind of thing, but I haven't done so. I'm not stirring it, but I'm hoping that some of it goes to the bottom. Okay, so pick up the cup. Whoops. Oh, it's got all the little cups on it. It's so interesting. This is the first time I've done this. So I've got the cup standing up on the bottom part. Now I'm just going to flip the whole piece right over. And there we go. And let's swirl it as we go out. Okay, that's a little better than some of the ones you did before. Now, with this, you got see some pretty colors along one side there. And I said I was going to put some gold in, so I'm going to drop it in now, just to see. And this is on a, I'm wondering if I make my thing spin right in the middle, if it would work better. I'm going to move this off. Let's just see. Still pretty, well, it's moving. Oh. So what you really want is for the good stuff to stay on. And what often happens when you're just learning this is that the good stuff goes off. So, but I'm thinking the good stuff's this stuff over here. And so what I can do is put this in here and this over here. And then we'll just slowly let it. I think I'm almost too impatient to do this. See these globule things there? Those are probably caused by the blue having the having the oil in the pieces. So I like that blue there. So my thoughts right now are that I didn't have enough stuff in the cup. And then it could have gone all over the edge. Just going to give it a minute or two. And what I like to do is to take one of these things, can you see it? Yeah, that's my 1 inch. And I go along the edge and paint them. So with the stuff that's falling off. And the other thing that I can do at this point to affect it a bit is to go where I've got a whole pile of stuff that fell off, like here. Ew, lots of goo. And I can take some of that off. If I can pick it up. And I can add it to the surface. In certain areas where it's a little bare. So what you really want is all the surface to be completely covered nicely. And they're not. But it's, how do I say it? It's a work in progress. So one of the things I did with the other one last time, which I think might work a little bit better here, is I just took the clear gel and poured it over the places where I thought there wasn't enough stuff. So now it is completely covered all over. And I can paint the sides if I want to. And I'm not quite ready to work into it. It's still very soft. But I will do that just before the show ends, I'll do that. So what I'm working on now is exactly what density, how liquid do I need these, and I could look up what other people's formulas are, but the problem with that is that they're using different kinds of paints and stuff. So I really have to work at it for myself. So let's just get a little bit of this matte. This is a glossy varnish, acrylic varnish. So it'll look, if I put it on here, it'll look white, but when it dries, it'll have it'll intensify where it is, and it'll look beautiful. So I'm actually going to feel free to put it in any holes that I see. And I don't see a lot of holes in here. Where was the one I did last time? I can show you that. Oh, let's see. There were a lot of holes. This is the one I did last time, and there were a lot of spaces here, and I just put this gloss in there, and it just bloomed up with these different colors. So I was quite pleased with what happened. I didn't know what would happen, but I was quite pleased. Ooh, I think I put a gob of stuff on there that I shouldn't have. Okay, just get rid of it. Okay, so if I wanted to intensify certain areas, I could do that here. And I know there are probably expert people who've done this before who are watching. So this is where I like to get in here and start putting in my own marks. Now normally I should be rinsing it off before I put it in there. So what I'm drawing out is that, not the green, but now I did it with the green, so I'm going to go. Can I bring it in a little bit? There. I can probably move it around like this a little bit. Take it out a little bit. So Friday, we should be able to look at this and see if there's some coherence to it that there isn't right now, because I probably used way too many colors. So I had these little things dipping along here, dip, 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 dip. And so what would make a very dramatic one would probably be a big difference in the darkness and the lightness. And this is going to be sort of a pale blue. It could. I think these blobs just look like blobs, so I really have to do something with them. Very busy. Let's do something with that red. Okay, I'm just going to leave it. Yep. And it's time to close. I just wanted to show one other thing. So I haven't really talked to you about doing poured paintings on Yupo paper, but this is probably this one I'm looking at right now. I don't know whether I got it. It's probably one of my most successful ones, and it was a poured painting on Yupo. You can't see it very well because there's a plastic in front of it. Yeah, but I've taken parts of it and used it for background for business card and that kinds of things, and it's got some very interesting areas. So it's not always about, oh, is the whole thing beautiful? Sometimes you're lucky and it is a composition, but sometimes the composition is one small part of it. And to me, right now, this looks like a dog's breakfast, and I'm just not going to, in general, I have two choices when it looks like that. I can either wait or I can redo it again right now, but I'm not going to worry about it because it might look a lot better. And if it isn't, oh, no, that's the gel, yeah. So if it isn't a lot better, it's very simple just to paint it over and do it again right on top. So that's what we'll do. So, oh gosh, it really is a dog's breakfast, isn't it? Okay, so have we done everything that we're going to do here? Can I say goodbye? Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for joining us today and watching the experiments. I think it went better today than the last day. You can find us here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Central to do demonstrations, experiments, which I would say some of these were today, answer your questions. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Friday.